Hi everybody, Jill here. Welcome to my channel and welcome to a Gab Sesh. So I am going to try to remain focused on what I really have written down of what I wanted to cover in this Gab Sesh. A lot of time, well, most of the time, I just sort of go by the seat of my pants and it just goes wherever, my mind takes us. It's a little scary sometimes. However, this time I am going to try to get through these things. I might not be able to get through all of them, but at least I have a direction. First off, hi. How are you guys doing? I wanted to explain why I've been MIA. It's actually kind of more of a happy, exciting reason this time. And so I'm going to talk to you about that. And I also have been having some of you ask if we could have some more skincare videos or talk about some skincare topics more. So I am going to throw a little skincare related point or idea in this particular Gab Sesh today. Specifically, I love ingredients. I love to learn about ingredients. I love to decipher kind of ingredient decks in skincare. And it's something that I really love and enjoy to do. So that's kind of what, as you can tell probably by the title, I may have put it in there, that we're going to be talking about hyaluronic acid today and sort of bust a few, I don't know if they're myths as more of their misconceptions with hyaluronic acid. So I like to educate my clients about that. And we're going to be talking about that today. I have a couple little side things also that we may get to. But in the meantime, get yourself some tea and or coffee. Find a cozy little corner like I did today and cozy up, which I think I'm actually going to do a little more of. And because we're going to hang out today for a little bit, and I really welcome you here today. Thank you so much for tuning in and allowing me the honor of having you here today for our Gab Sesh, and welcome. As always, I love to read your comments, especially on Sunday Gab Sessions, because I usually do give myself a moment to do that on Sunday. I have, my goal on Sunday is to not get dressed, not take a shower, and just really veg. And that's what I love to do. So I give myself lots of time to hang out on YouTube and start reading the comments that start coming in. And unless something has come up, I generally try to respond to all, if not almost all, of your comments on Sunday because I thoroughly enjoy it. So at any time, feel free to chime in down below and let me know what you are thinking at any point during this video. Okay, all right. So first of all, I have been missing in action really in both my channels the last week or two. Because on Valentine's, well, it's not even Valentine's Day yet, but that would be next week. But my husband surprised me. He often calls me before he leaves to come home from work. And this time he was leaving, he was going to get home a little earlier than normal because he went to work like an hour earlier. And wanted to know if I wanted to go to Costco because he wanted to know if I wanted to get my dream laptop. You guys, I haven't had a new laptop in years. I have been using, and it has been a workhorse, man, not complaining. I have been using my oldest daughter, Jessan's Lenovo laptop that she had throughout grad school, and it was a workhorse for her, and it has been great. It has been great for me, but it has definitely starting to lag, sort of hopping along, and I know that I needed a new laptop. And I've been kind of waiting really until, sort of like after tax season to see where we land there before I even started entertaining the thought of looking into getting one. I've never had a Mac ever, you guys, never had a Mac. So I was excited for that. Both of my son-in-laws are into the computer sciences. They're both coders and work in that. I've got one that works at, actually they both now work at Amazon. I had one that worked at Microsoft, one at Amazon. They know their stuff is what I'm saying. And they totally talked me into getting a Mac. Yeah, they definitely talked me into that and explained why. So I thought, okay, oh, they're so expensive, but that's probably why I've never gotten one before. But decided that I would love to try out Final Cut Pro X, which is this wonderful editing software for Mac. And I have been dreaming about getting to know that software and using it really since I began my YouTube channel, but my good old Lenovo would never be able to deal with that. Plus it's PC, and maybe Final Cut Pro is also for PC. I really don't know. But here I am. I have a brand new laptop, a MacBook Pro, super exciting, and I'm finally starting to learn the new software, the Final Cut Pro X. It is professional editing software. It's a little intimidating. It is way more advanced than the Filmora software that I was using. However, I love that software too. But so anyway, I have been trying to negotiate my way around not only being a first-time Mac user, but also trying to learn the very basics of this awesome editing software so I can create videos that are good enough to at least, you know, get up here on my channel. That's what I've been up to. I've been trying to learn it so I can get the basics down so I can create, you know, videos for my channels. So thank you for your patience. That is indeed what I've been doing. And if you didn't know, I also started up a second channel, which is more about my health, my keto journey, starting the ketogenic lifestyle. And, you know, I started that channel to divert all of that over to there. So it's brand new, and I originally really wanted to kick out one video every single day over there to get it kind of jump started for 30 days. And I made it for a little bit, and then all of this happened, so it's gotten off that track. So yeah, I think I bit off more than I could chew there, but the timing was a little off. So I am finally going to start getting back on track here and there. So anyway, I want to thank you for your patience and waiting. I am enjoying it immensely. I have a goal this year in 2020 to bring you really nicely produced, really good quality videos in both visual and editing, and having everything flow so it's a really relaxing but enjoyable experience no matter what my video may be about. So I'm slowly learning this. They're going to be very basic. Don't expect much right now, but eventually I hope that you can see kind of how my skills will grow within that software, and hope to bring you better and better and better content as this year goes on. All right, so for those of you that tuned in specifically to talk or to hear about hyaluronic acid, I think I'll cover that first. That way you can tap out if this is why you're here. And in the description box, I will start putting the times of different topics if they are truly noteworthy topics in my Gab Seshes, which oftentimes that's not the case, but for this particular one I have. So hyaluronic acid. Okay, well, I would love to cover slowly but surely what I feel are really must-have ingredients if you are interested in looking for anti-aging, pro-aging, however you want to word that, age supporting in your skincare. And one of those ingredients definitely is hyaluronic acid. I think hyaluronic acid is a wonderful piece to your pro-aging, your age support ingredient deck of some of your products. And that's because if we can help sort of juice up those cells in our skin and turn them into, you know, from shriveled up, dehydrated little grapes into very beautiful, plump, juicy, grapes. That does a lot for our skin. If you notice that you're getting a lot of very fine lines, not the deep set wrinkles that are more expression lines, but very fine lines, and you will see them probably, obviously where the tissue is very thin, so around your eyes, right down in here, in your cheeks. Those are actually dehydration lines, and you can improve those really with something like hyaluronic acid, because those cells will plump up like grapes and push the skin up, and the dehydration lines will just miraculously disappear for the most part. Hyaluronic acid really acts very quickly. It is a humectant, so it's going to pull in moisture into the cells. There's a lot of humectants, so a really nice ingredient deck that has hyaluronic acid will usually have not just that humectant, it will have a few others as well. So there's glycerin, there's cucumber, there's honey. These are all humectants that draw the moisture into your skin. So it's really nice to have all of that going on inside an ingredient deck that has hyaluronic acid. And then the other thing that's wonderful about really great blends that have hyaluronic acid is that they will have other ingredients in there that will help to keep it into your skin. And will keep that moisture in those cells of which the humectants have drawn in there for you. Now, the really interesting thing about hyaluronic acid, and what makes it very, very superior among a lot of the other humectants, is that hyaluronic acid holds its weight, 1,000 times its weight in water. So that is huge. That means it's not going to take long to turn that little shriveled up raisin into a plump, juicy grape. So it is really fabulous. So without a doubt, hyaluronic acid can really bring a certain bit of buoyancy back to your skin. It happens pretty quickly, and it's not going to necessarily, do, what would I say, any long-term changes other than if you use it every day in a couple of your pieces in your skincare regimen. It will keep your skin looking dewy and buoyant and really help to diffuse a lot of those dehydration lines. So I do have that one up on my list of ingredients that a mature skinned individual should entertain having in their skincare regimen. It's not just for mature aged people at all. Hyaluronic acid is something that is beneficial across the board. It's not a lipid. It's not going to make your skin oily. It's just going to hydrate your skin by allowing, pulling in moisture from the environment and socking it in your cells. And it's going to do that 1,000 times its weight. So that's a lot of a boost to the hydration in your skin. So where does that misunderstanding of hyaluronic acid that I find so much? I would talk to my clients and across the board almost, there's a very misinformed piece of that particular ingredient. The thing is it is a humectant. So if you live in a very, very dry climate, or even moderately dry climate, hyaluronic acid is really going to have a hard time being productive under your skin and doing what it was intended for. Because where is it going? It's a humectant. Where is it going to get the moisture to bring into your cells from the outside into your cells? You're just going to almost be using something that is not going to be super efficient. However, there are ways that you definitely can still get some of the benefits from hyaluronic acid, but it's going to be a kind of a backpedaling. It's going to be a little bit of a struggle to keep it up. And the truth of it is that you're not really going to get still quite the benefits of hyaluronic acid, as it was intended. So one of the things, though, that you can do to help boost this wonderful attribute of hyaluronic acid is to deliver it and give it some moisture so it can bring it into the cells and sock it in. But there's a two-way street here, kind of a double-edged sword when it comes to this. There are hydrating waters that you can spritz on your face. That definitely, if you have, say, a serum that has hyaluronic acid in it, or a hyaluronic serum, Rhonda Allison has a hyaluronic serum, it's sort of a gel. Put that on your nice clean skin. And then if you live in a dry climate, definitely do some spritzing of some really nice, it could even be a beautiful plant water, maybe the cucumber spritz. I love doing that. Where it has other hydrators in the actual water that in that ingredient deck anyway, and you can spray that on and give that hyaluronic acid something to sock in your cells so it can do what it does. But the problem is if you're trying to do this because you do live in a drier climate, what is going to happen? That dry climate is going to then suck out the moisture from your skin and just bring it back out in the environment. So how do you deal with that? Because that pertains to many of us, really, especially when we have a weather change, or we all of a sudden are turning on our gas stoves, our heaters, we have wood fireplaces, wood stoves. That is, even you could live in a wonderfully, humid climate, but now, it's summer, it's winter, and you have all of this going on. So you walk out in perhaps a really nice damp situation, and you come in and immediately all of that's going to get sucked right out of your skin and then some. So you can help that by what? Well, you can seal in some of that beautiful, moisture that now has gone into the hyaluronic acid component in that skincare piece, and now it's in those cells, plumps it up real nice. So you can kind of try to keep it there by using a sort of lipid component. That really nice, I prefer, you can use it in a cream form, yes. I actually prefer to use oil blends. So things like the pumpkin E serum, something like the, there are several light lipid serums within the Rhonda Allison line. You can find lots of really beautiful, simple oil blends that are not even that expensive, all over the place, really. And you just want something that's not real heavy, so nothing that would have those heavier oils in it. Like, it depends how dry your skin is, honestly. There are skin types that prefer those heavier oils and do very well with them. But I kind of prefer the ones that generally just sort of dissolve or just sort of seep into the skin, the lighter oil blends. The heavier oils that you'd want to sort of maybe perhaps not see in there would be macadamia nut oil. That's quite a heavy, it's a gorgeous oil, but it's a little heavier. I have never been a proponent of using coconut oil at any degree in skincare for the face. I have seen too many times what that looks like in my clients, in my mag lamp that I look into their skin, not into their skin, at their skin, and I see a lot of underground kind of congestion that comes from a lot of consistent use of certain coconut oil products that have coconut oil in them. I just think that there are some skin types that seem to deal with it pretty good, but for the most part, I think it's not that case. It's not the case. So I'm not a big proponent of that. I'm not a big proponent of using coconut oil to wash your face or anything like that. But anyway, using a light oil serum while your skin is even still damp, if you used a really nice hydrating water spritz and then getting 2, 3 drops at the most of a really nice oil blend, not a lot, get it going. My battery was getting ready to die. And warm it up in your hands and then just sort of press it in right over the top of your damp skin. And that will encourage the kind of hyaluronic acid and other humectants to do its job, and it'll kind of prevent that or slow down the environment from just sucking all of that right back out again. I do that a lot in the wintertime because, again, we're going out, we're coming in, and the skin is just really struggling with all of that. So that's one of my favorite things that I like to do. And you can, throughout the day, you can do your spritz, of your water there, but you've got to seal it in. I see too many times, especially on airplanes, that women especially will have very clean skin on purpose. They'll get on a plane and they will continue to spritz their face, really quickly with like a hydrating water or something like that. The problem is that in an airplane especially, that is such a it's terrible for the skin. But it's just really almost creating more of an issue, and it's just constantly just sucking that right back out, and it can cause your skin actually to even get more dehydrated. So if you already had sort of a nice lipid component on your skin, and I don't mean to the point where you look greasy, not at all, because if you do, you have way too much on. But if you have sort of that component that you've already done your hyaluronic acid or serum or whatever it has in it, and you've already done your first little press, with the thing, and you've done all of that, and then you get on the airplane, well, yeah, you can spritz, and just kind of press it in because you've already got a little bit of that component on your skin already, that lipid component. That's going to slow down that. It's not still going to perform like it would if you lived in a very humid climate or even moderately humid climate. For those of you that do, man, get yourself something with hyaluronic acid in it, because that is the shiz. That is going to do some remarkable things for your skin, especially if you struggle with drier skin or you've got a lot of those dehydration lines. You're a mature person and you're missing that sort of buoyancy. With a good formula, it really is all about how that ingredient deck has built itself around that active. Or, by the way, hyaluronic acid is not a super expensive component to create. So if you're looking, it shouldn't be super expensive. If that's the only active that's in that particular skincare piece, it really shouldn't be too expensive, because it's one of those wonderful ingredients that aren't ridiculously expensive to put in something. Just a little FYI. It doesn't have to be super expensive, but definitely look for a reputable brand. Preferably, I shouldn't say this, but drugstore skincare, I think, because I am a professional and I have only worked with professional products. I have seen, again, through clients, through my children, the difference, the very big, vast difference between using a professional line, something that you would need to get through a professional such as a dermatologist, an esthetician, a plastic surgeon, those sorts of offices and businesses. Those are, like Abaji. These are lines that are only sold to professionals, and Rhonda Allison is one such line. So the ingredient decks that are built around the actives are usually far superior than anything you can get in the drugstore. I hate to say that. I 100% firmly believe it, however, and I'm really sorry if this offends a lot of people, but this has been what I have seen with my own eyes. This is from so many clients and people that tell me they're completely blown away in the difference of which their skin has changed once they changed over to a professional line. Because it's not just about that word that's on the label that says hyaluronic acid, or, this has peptides in it, or, there's retinol in this formula. Okay, great. But it's not just those actives that makes an excellent product. It's how those chemists put together that entire ingredient deck to allow that active to get into your skin properly. And then once it's there, it's going to do its job. And depending on what that active is, it could also mean that that active is going to be able to do its job without irritating your skin, without causing burning, without causing redness, yada yada. So, that whole picture is so important, even with something like hyaluronic acid. Anyway, if you live, now here's an example. My daughter went to Vietnam for the first time. Her husband is from Vietnam, and they went back to see his parents, and she would FaceTime me. So she brought with her grapeseed hydrating serum, hyaluronic serum, and just like her, whatever the component was she was using to wash her face. Basically, that was it. She was FaceTiming me, and I had to stop her in mid-sentence and said, "Oh my, Hannah, I'm just gonna tell you right now, your skin looks amazing right now," without even thinking about what she was using on her skin. And she's like, "I know." She goes, "I know my skin has been amazing." Well, later we put two and two together, because I'm like, "What are you using on your skin?" And she told me, and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, you're in Vietnam. It is ridiculously humid there, and that hyaluronic acid, man, is working." And it is a huge difference. So if you live in a humid area, get yourself some hyaluronic acid, because it is going to immediately just wow you. I mean, it is an amazing ingredient for all ages, but specifically for those that may have drier skin, a little bit more mature. Now Hannah, at that time, she was like 24. Gorgeous skin anyway, but it was a huge difference. She does struggle with those dehydration lines and just dry skin in general. So she's like, "My goodness, my skin was amazing the whole time I was there." And that's why. Okay, so you guys, that's all I'm going to talk about with that. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I could talk about stuff like that all day long. Okay, what else did I have in here? Okay, we did that. What are you guys streaming? I love talking about this. It's my favorite thing almost. I love seeing what everybody's watching down below in the comment box. I was sitting here thinking, what have I been watching? My mind completely went blank. So there must not be any one thing that stood out to me. This is kind of a funky time of year, because more shows now are coming back on, but I hate when they go into hiatus, because then what are you left with? It's just not fair. So the shows that I love to watch that just don't seem to put them out every week anymore. What is going on? I hate that. Bless This Mess, love it, talked about that before. I was watching The Good Place. Finally, they actually ended the show, and just last week I caught the finale of that. No spoilers, not going to talk about that, but just so you know, if you do watch it, the finale is on and now it's ended. That was a fun show. It wasn't like a huge favorite, but I did enjoy it, and I looked forward to watching the new ones. Schitt's Creek, as you know, huge. I remember when it first came out, I had to talk to you guys about it. It's won so many awards, and it's gained popularity beyond comprehension. It's just this huge show. And the newest season, which is unfortunately their final season, is been on, I think. But has it? Yeah, it has been on, but it takes forever to get to Netflix. That's going to be a while. Now, at one point, they had it on Pop TV, and you could watch it weekly as it came out, but then Pop TV, I think, got smart, and so now you have to pay a subscription for that. Whereas I remember the very first year it came out, or it was the second season, you didn't have to pay anything. You just could go to Pop TV, download the app on your smart TV, and watch Now, you at least you haven't been able to do that not long ago. I haven't checked in a long time. Maybe it's changed. So I'm eagerly awaiting. I'm going to wait until I can just binge watch the whole season at once. I'm so excited for that, and it's sort of bittersweet. And so many, if not all their fans, are just so sad that they're wrapping that up. But they're smart. They're smart to do that, because you can kind of see how things are starting to kind of wrap up, even from the last season. If you haven't watched that show, oh my Lord, you need to see it. It is so well done, because not only do you laugh, but you do tear up. It is so well written, so good. Okay, so movie-wise, you know, I see that there are some movies coming up that I kind of want to see. There's Apple TV is a thing now, and I've been kind of cruising over there to see, because I got a free year of Apple TV because I bought that laptop. So there, M. Night Shyamalan, if I pronounce that wrong, I'm sorry. He has a new series out, and it's called Cripes. What is it called? It's not The Babysitter, it's not The Nanny, it's the something. I'm gonna have to put it up here somewhere. So I was kind of excited about that, because I am kind of a fan of his, and he has missed more than he's hit when it comes to his movies, and it's kind of sad, because a couple of my all-time favorite movies are his, and then he'll do some that are just terrible, and you're like, and more often than not, that's what happens, but I still like him. You know, one of my favorite movies is Signs, that he did, Mel Gibson. It's so good, so good. I can watch that one over and over again. Really, really good. And another one, and this is what made me think of this, is because, let me go back. So he has a new series on Apple TV. So I started watching that, was kind of excited about it. And unfortunately, it's not hitting the mark for me. Largely because I feel like the main character, which would be the husband and the wife, the husband and wife both, to me, are just not hitting it when it comes to their acting. I know. At least not yet. Maybe I'll change my mind if I continue to watch it. But I've watched about 5 episodes, and I wanted to like it. The premise is spooky. The premise is really good. But unfortunately, those two, which happen to be the main characters and the one who's hired to babysit, which, if I could think of the name, would be the name of the entire series. Yeah, she's good, and the rest of them are fine, are actually really good. But they just aren't. They're just not very good actors right now. I know. Maybe they'll improve, and that's just my opinion. So anyway, what made me think of this is, if you haven't, because this is kind of an underground movie that you may have missed, and it has been out for years. And you know how I like to let you guys know of sort of those kind of dark horse, maybe you haven't heard of them, cult classic kind of things, like real cult classics. Lady in the Water, M. Night Shyamalan did that one. That is an amazing movie. I love it. Unfortunately, it didn't do well in the box office, because the trailer, I remember it back then, the trailer really made it seem like it was going to be sort of a thriller, almost like a horror movie. And it's not. It's not at all. It's about these amazing characters, and you learn to love all of them, and about kind of this quest. It is so good, you guys. So keep an open mind. No, it is not a scary movie. It's not a thriller. It's just a sit back and let it roll, and just enjoy the character development, and you will have a blast. So if you haven't seen Lady in the Water, I did see it on one of the streaming services. If you have Roku and you have that microphone button, hit it, talk in it, Lady in the Water, and it'll show you all of the different streaming networks that have it, because it was free somewhere. And I want to say it may have been Prime or maybe Netflix. I don't remember, but check it out. And then let me know what you think. I think it's a love it or hate it thing. I think either you're going to love it or you're going to hate it. And if you hate it, that means that we're not jiving. That's not good. All right, guys, I think I'm going to have to wrap this one up. I tell myself every time, Jill, you know, don't talk forever. Let's wrap this up. So I'm not sitting in front of the camera for 2 hours and then editing it down to approximately 35 minutes. I'm going to shoot for that. We'll see how I do. Okay, guys, we'll see you very soon. I'm going to be back on track now that I have enough skills, enough anyway, to put out at least some decent videos for you. All right, have a wonderful week, guys. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.